Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to bring a few tips on how to be more creative. But first I just want to say that being creative isn't just about drawing or writing. It can be any form of art or thing that you need ideas or you need to use your mind to make it work. There's a quote that says the creative adult is the child that survived, and that's where my first tip is coming from. If you think of the things that you used to think of when you were a child, artistically or as far as what made sense, a lot of it didn't really make sense. I'm pretty sure a few of you have had thoughts like, what if dogs were as tall as giraffes? Well, that can be a story plot or something, or that can be your new art piece. Now, of course, it would be humorous or not really realistic, but it's something new, it's something creative. So basically, don't try to be perfect with what you're creating. And that can apply in many different aspects. So if you're drawing a circle and you want to add some colors to it or whatever, or make it abstract and add some other shapes to it, you don't have to do it perfectly. And if you want it to be an artist, you have to leave room for mistakes. And you have to know that when you make these mistakes, that you can improve them, because art is practically just layers and layers of things that work together to make a whole piece. Even with a story, if you write one bad sentence in a whole chapter, that's not going to ruin the whole book. And you can always go back and edit. Which brings me to the next tip. The next tip would be to try to be perfect. So if you have this idea for a wonderful piece of art and you draw it and it doesn't look the way it turned out in your head, if you go and erase some of the imperfect lines or weird shapes and try to make them look better, chances are that you'll end up improving that piece. So if you try to be perfect in the second draft, then that can really help your creativity to flow. Because when you go back to perfect mistakes, you end up coming with new ideas. That's what I do a lot of the time with my art. So my third tip would be to try to do things that no one else is doing. So if you go on Instagram and you follow a lot of artists and you go to their page, you'll see a lot of their art has the same look or the same feel to it. And you can tell if you saw one of their pieces on a big, massive gallery, you would be like, oh, this looks like such and such's art. And you go look at the signature on it and it's from them. That's why it's a good idea to try to do things that no one else is doing, because if you look at someone's art style and you try to plagiarize it, so to speak, then you become like them and it's not as creative. But if you take bits and pieces of different people that you like, of their style, and add it into your own style, you'll start to feel your own creativity flowing and you'll develop your own art style and you'll be distinctive from the rest of them. Creativity is something that's inspired. So if you do draw your inspiration from other people's work, it's not plagiarism. Now, there is a point in artistry or writing or storytelling or any of the arts where you will try to be like someone else. But eventually, when you keep working at your skill, you'll draw creativity from within yourself and you'll be able to express yourself without using other people as a template. So another tip that I really love, and I use it myself, is to use your favorite colors in your next piece. So if your favorite color is pink, or you like a color combination like green and gold, then you can take those two colors and incorporate them into something that you really like. So if you like fish, you can paint or draw or color or write about a green and gold fish. My favorite color is blue. So if you look at a lot of my art, you'll see the color blue incorporated all over the place. And even with writing, okay, if you're writing a story and you're trying to be creative, but you can't really think of something for your next scene, imagine something that's your favorite color and use that as a theme. So if your favorite color is pink or blue or red, you could use roses to come up with a theme for your next scene. Or you could use water and the sky and everything blue and beautiful for the theme for your next scene. You could use apples and cherries. You could write about some awesome fruit spread that was at a dinner party that you went to, or that your character was invited to. Using your favorite colors is a really good way to become creative or to manifest your own creativity, because you're coming from something that's already inside of yourself. And speaking of things that's already inside of yourself, another tip that I use all the time, or not really tip, but method of being creative, I'll draw something that I saw in a dream, or I'll draw a scene or a concept that I first saw in one of my dreams. So if I dream about a golden butterfly with razor sharp wings, how would I portray that in a picture? And that just brings your mind to a whole new level of creativity, where you try to invent a new way to draw something or portray something, a new way to tell a story because of this idea that came from your dream. I've actually written a story based off of a dream that I had. I dreamt that me and my sister and my brother were lost in the woods, and there was this path, and we were trying to stay on the path because on one side there was something terrifying, and on the other side there was a whole other terrifying thing. I never really finished the whole story. I should have finished it, but I think I wrote like 5 chapters or so. I should conclude that story though. There was another dream that I had where I was standing in front of some mountain that was in the middle of this lake, and the moon was shining above it. First I drew it as a sketch, and then one day I sat down and took the time to paint it with acrylic. That's a tip that you can use. If you dream of some new place or some new creature or some bizarre idea, you can turn that into your next piece of art. And even if it's abstract, if you saw a certain color or a color scheme, like a mix of colors, you can add that into your next abstract painting. There are just many ways that you can draw from your own self to be creative, from thoughts, from your dreams, from your emotions, or things that you used to like as a child, or just trying to use new things that you've never seen anyone else use before. Or perhaps reuse an old thing that someone used before, but you feel like it could have been done better. If you reuse an old technique and make it your own, you are building your own creativity. So these are just a few tips that you can use to boost your creativity or to come up with new ideas for your next artistic endeavor. If you'd like to know more about my art, follow me on Instagram at Created by Sophisticated, or check in the description box below to find more information on my art. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, and share.